Hey gang, it's Jeff from the James Freddy's channel. Now my goal isn't to sit here and rework all the bodywork that's been done in this car, but if I can see stuff that's already starting to fail, I'd like to get it out of there and see what's going on and if there's any way we can improve upon it before it goes to paint. So I believe that right here is part of that work that was done whenever the accident happened to the car, and as we can see right here, the filler work's cracking out. There was never much good primer put on the bottom, so you can see a little bit of rusting too. So we'll take all that out. We are all dug out, and to be honest with you, I can't see any real reason why that filler cracked. I mean, it's perhaps a little bit deeper than you would normally see, but we can fix that, but I don't know why the filler cracked. I was kind of expecting to see some sort of surface contamination or something, so we'll just go ahead and do our best. It was actually much thicker down lower, but we'll go ahead and do our best to maybe get that a little bit closer and then clean up our surface, prepare it for filler, and just skim coat it again. So as I continued to work the area, this one was a pull out. These two just arcing the dent puller caused it to burn away. So then I took a file that I often work with a lot, a little Lennox file, and I just shoved the little head through, and you could just by pushing on it, you could see the metal was thin. So we got this area up, and I'm thinking I'm going to come down about 3/4 of an inch, come across about 3 inches. I'm going to try and put a break in there and maybe come up into this reveal a little bit and see. Here we are with the patch in, and this is what was cut out of it, and there were a couple of bondo worms coming through. I could not see that from the outside. So anyway, we took some time after getting it cut out to get a nice fit, a nice even gap all the way around. I did not bother to go ahead and pull the rest of the dents from the bottom there, because I know I'm gonna end up working it after I weld that patch in. So wish me luck. And there we are, all welded in. Looks pretty good. How is it the stupid little insignificant patches come out? Pretty nice. So we'll just go ahead and start pulling the rest of our dents out along the bottom and get it done. So, some things have been done to the car since we turned the camera off last, and I figured I'd go ahead and give a quick update before we continue on. Of course, I started to repair the folly of my ways where that large dent was, and I should have known that it was going to do it, because it always does. You got to remember not to think about what you're going to make the metal do, but what is the metal going to do. And of course, with all the shape that's in an area, when you go ahead and weld a large area and shrink, it ends up shrinking it and therefore pulling all that shape out. So we were able to get it pretty nice, and I'll go ahead and show you that. So this is where we welded up our holes from the old spoiler, and we got a large grapefruit sized shrink mark here, which all came out nice. Again, sorry for the focusing issues, but this is what this camera is going to do. Down here, as we get into where the actual weld took place, you can see a gap there, but that'll all fill. And then over here on the quarter panel is just another little area that I've gone ahead to decide to attack as a little bit of dent pulling and door dinging. We're going to go ahead and try to fix. So what you can see here is I've gone ahead like I do, and I lay that blue dicom out, and I like that because I can weld my dent puller through it, and it still allows me to kind of file the metal down and see how I'm progressing as I start to pull these lows out. We got some materials in for the project, and let's see what we got. We've got probably my favorite sanding filler, the Rage Ultra, and above it we got a few rolls of tape, some 180 and 80 on the Stick It longboard, some guide coat, and then over here is a new product. It's a direct to metal epoxy primer, and it's made by Lumabase, which I don't know anything about that, with its activator. Although one thing that I noticed already was that this epoxy primer called for, on the side of the can, 401 activator, and the activator that they sent was 361. We've got a little bit of the lacquer thinner, and then over to the side is just a little side project I've been working on, a little bit of gray gloss Rust-Oleum that I've been using to paint. Well, yesterday I painted one stand, and today I plan on painting another stand in the shop. So yesterday, like I was saying, I took the time to go ahead and scrub down this old dingy rusty stand that the shrinker stretcher mounts to, and it was just a old white wheel, and the square tubing that you see up top where it mounts the shrinker stretcher, that was just raw steel. And it was basically a stand made out of scraps, maybe 10, 12 or better years ago, somewhere in that range, and just always collecting dust, always an eyesore, always rusty. And now we've made it a little bit nicer by painting it with that gloss enamel gray by Rust-Oleum. And over here is the bead roller, and this is a stand that I made last year or something, maybe after Tyler's car left. And I've got a couple of posts that I want to weld on the side of it so that I can hang the dies for this, and we'll get that going in that gray. So I've been working on a theory as to why this deck lid has way more arch on both sides than the quarter panels, and it's something that I hadn't seen before, and I was thinking, well, maybe it was just a matter of the quality of the manufacturer back then. We all know that it wasn't quite as nice, but as far as I can remember, I don't ever remember seeing that. And so as I got this guide coat on here and started blocking it, I started to notice that that arch just felt too sharp and it wasn't quite right. So I started thinking about the fact that this all got pushed in here in an accident. And when I opened up the deck lid, I noticed that this latch had been all tweaked. This deck lid, which I've already fixed, was all pushed like this, and this latch bracket was all messed up. So I fixed the latch, and I fixed the the support bracket by smacking it back into place. This I had already fixed, but my thought is maybe when this all got pushed in, it pushed on this, creating that. And so one of the ideas I thought of for fixing it was to put this 2x4 in here and take my little 3-pound sledge and my spoon and just smack it right here on the peak of that high spot. And with just hitting this just twice, it's already coming down into shape. Let's take a look. Now here is our left side untouched, and you can just see the difference in the arch to the quarter panel. All the way around the rest of the deck lid to the body, things fit very good, but right here, it's just too much arch right there. Let's take a look at the left or the right side. Over here on the right side, you could see how with just a couple of hits, we're already starting to get our contour right. So I'm probably going to slowly work up to this to where I take it a little bit further, and then we're going to finish out on the left side doing the same thing, and hopefully that's going to cure our issue. Okay, I'm going to set it on this channel into a structurally stronger area on the car, and let it come up and meet the deck lid right here, and it's sitting on the same thing on the bottom side. And then I'm just going to continue to hit it, trying to force out that arch a little bit. Almost there. Alright, now we went ahead and pulled out all the rest of the dents on the bottom of that, at least to where we're going to take it. It's plenty fine for what we're going to achieve. And let's back up a little. We're going to go ahead and take some 50 grit on a roll lock disc with a grinder, and we're going to prepare the surface of where we welded up the deck lid and the filler patch for some short strand fiberglass made by Evercoat, and it's called Everglass. Alright, here's the stuff. I like to use this over welds just as cheap insurance. Is it going to fail? Yeah, most likely. All this crap that we're doing is going to fail. But, yeah. So I'll get a little bit going on. I always wonder, or I have often wondered, what if I did a how to spread Bondo video, if it'd be one of those videos you get like 500,000 views on or whatever, but it would have to be something like titled like everything you thought you ever knew about Bondo, forget it because you learned it wrong. And then you'd do some stuff where like the obvious answers that everybody learns in the first 5 minutes of Bondo class would work or whatever. But anyway, here we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try and knock this down with some 40 on a block just to give me that added, perhaps, advantage of using the contour of the thing. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and grab this 40 on the geared DA sander. A little bit of this. Look at it knock the freaking grit right off the paper. Alright, here we are. We knocked down that Everglass and we're ready for a good top coat. I like to take this down a little bit further than the top surface just in case when I'm blocking out the top filler, the just regular Bondo filler or lightweight body filler, whatever we're calling it these days. I don't want to run into this because the two will never kind of sand together or block out perfectly good together. We got these in the taillight panel. So all of our weld patches are completely covered by the short strand Kevlar, bulletproof now. You can shoot this thing, it's bulletproof with Kevlar. Watertight short strand fiberglass filler. And I would go ahead and top coat this with filler and finish it out, but I've still got dents here and other little stuff to take care of, so we'll end it here. Just want to take the time to thank all of you for clicking on the button and watching our video. I hope you follow along with this playlist, as I think this is going to be a pretty fun project, and I'm loving it, so thanks again for joining us. Here's a quick tech tip for these clean strip discs that I like so much, and that is not all of us have this specific arbor that it calls for when using it. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take a pair of side dikes and I'll clip that little extension off, and then it'll fit into your typical roll lock. But this is not a safe way to use this product, because a lot of times what'll happen is you'll catch it wrong and it'll knock the threads right off that roll lock, and it'll go flying across the shop at 1,000 miles an hour and end up somewhere. So I'm mentioning this because it hasn't happened to me just once, but several times. But like, these are expensive. You've just, at this point, you can't hook it up anymore. You've just wasted $5, $6, $7 worth of product here. So what you can do at this point is to now take an arbor like this, which you would typically use for a cutoff wheel. I ground that flat. I'll drill a 3/16 inch hole on that side and a 1/2 inch hole on that side, and I'll be able to screw this down through and hook it up to your normal cutoff wheel style grinder. And hopefully that's going to save me not only $5, $6 on what would otherwise be wasted right here, but over the course of time save me a lot of money, because sometimes we need it on an angle grinder, sometimes we need it on a straight cut, and we're not going to go ahead and just buy these arbors all the time.